So, good evening. Welcome once again to Professor Academy's question paper analysis of UGC NET English, December 2021, Shift 1. And today we are going to analyze questions from 41 to 45. So, 41, match list 1 with list 2. On the one side, you have list 1, poets, list 2, languages they wrote in. So, under list 1, we have A, Charles Baudelaire, against which we have list 2, 1, French. Then B, Heinrich Heine, against which we have number 2, German. Then C, Sylvia Plath, against which we have 3, English. Then D, Jose Marti, against which we have 4, Spanish. So what you have to do, you have to match the poet with the language he or she wrote in. So this is the match the following. So we have options. Option A, I would rather say this is a very straightforward question. Sometimes you need not go through the entire options. Sometimes it's very obvious. So just look at the match the following. We know Sylvia Plath. Sylvia Plath wrote in, of course, everyone knows English. And if you know this, just you need not go through all the 4 options. Just look at C. C is Sylvia Plath, and she wrote in English. So C, number 3. And there is only one C and one number 3. Right? So the answer is very obvious. Answer is A. So in the sense, A, Charles Baudelaire, French. Then Heinrich Heine, German. C, Sylvia Plath, English. Then Jose Marti, Spanish. Sometimes question seems like, a bombastic one, but the answer is very easy. Sometimes they don't check all these things. So if you know just Sylvia Plath and number 3 English, you can easily crack this question. But anyway, let's get to know these poets. So number 1, we have Charles Baudelaire, a very famous French poet known for his celebrated work, The Flowers of Evil. In French, it's called Les Fleurs du Mal. It's a very, very acclaimed work of this poet. And if you're interested, you should read these poems in this collection. The Albatross, which is often prescribed when it comes to world literature and translation or in other papers. Then we have The Clock, A Caucus, then Lament of an Icarus. Okay, so these are the poems you can read. So if you want to familiarize yourself with Charles Baudelaire, the French poet. Next, we go for the German poet Heinrich Heine, spelling H-E-I-N-R-I-C-H, Heine, H-E-I-N-E, Heinrich Heine. His famous poetry collection, Book of Songs. So in Book of Songs, we have this a lot of poems. Almost most of his poems are collected in this collection. But here are a few lines from his poem, The Silesian Weavers, S-I-L-E-S-I-A-N, The Silesian Weavers. Let's read. It talks about the pathetic condition of the weavers. So these are the lines. The shuttle flies, the loom creaks. Assiduously, we weave day and night. Old Germany, we weave your shroud. We weave into it a threefold curse. We weave, we weave. So they talk about their monotonous life. All day and night, they do this work, weaving again and again. But they don't prosper in life. So yes, they were responsible for the past because we weave your shroud for the dead or for the future. But their life is like Sisyphus, staying in the same position again and again, doing the same work. Next, we go for Sylvia Plath, the celebrated American poet belonging to confessional poetry. Her famous collection of poems, Ariel. And these are some of the poems you can read to acquaint yourself with Sylvia Plath. You have Lady Lazarus, Daddy, the Colossus, then Mad Girl's Love Song, A Birthday Present. Daddy is often prescribed one, so is Lady Lazarus. Then let's go for the 4th poet. We have Jose Marti, J-O-S-E M-A-R-T-Y. Jose Marti was a Cuban poet, wrote in Spanish. So he was a kind of a rebel, and he fought for Cuban freedom. So here is a poem. It was written in Spanish. So Rosa Blanca, Rosablanca, Rosa Blanca. I have a white rose to tend in July as in January. I give it to the true friend who offers his frank hand to me. And for the cruel one whose blows break the heart by which I live, thistle nor thorn do I give. For him too, I have a white rose. So here is a person who treats both his friends and enemies equally. And he always has a smile and a white rose for both the enemies and friends. And Jose Marti's famous collection of poetry, we have simple verses or verso senseless. Okay, so this is how when you analyze a past question paper, at least you get to know about something about the writer, so that next time if we get a question, at least we can eliminate options, right? Next, question number 42. Choose the right chronological sequence of the publication of the following works. So we have 4 works given. Capital A, Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale. B, Alice Walker's The Color Purple. C, Doris Lessing, The Golden Notebook. D, Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye. So we have 4 options. Option A, this is the order, A, B, D, C. Then we go for option B, B, A, D, C. Then option C, C, D, B, A. Then option D, D, C, B, A. So we have to spend a few seconds here. So before we choose the answer, number 1, ask yourself. So we have almost all the acclaimed writers, women writers across the world: Margaret Atwood, Alice Walker, Doris Lessing, and Toni Morrison. So we have to ask ourselves which of this work could be the latest, or which could be the first one. If you know this is the first one, the answer is very easy to find, because option A starts with A, B starts with B, C starts with C, D starts with D. If you know the first one, it's easy to crack. If you don't know, at least you have 2 options. One, option A and B ends with a C. Is it Doris Lessing? That's the last one. Or is it Margaret Atwood? That's the last one, because the C and D ends with A. So if you think Margaret Atwood could be the the writer, recently we talk about her a lot, and especially this work, The Handmaid's Tale. If you think that could be the latest work, then we are left with 2 choices, option C and D. Then we have to make a choice, right? Of course, if we come at that decision, then the 3rd position go to Alice Walker. We have to decide the first one. Is it Doris Lessing or Toni Morrison? So let's go to the answer. Answer is C, option C. This is the order, right order. First, Doris Lessing's The Golden Notebook, then Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, then Alice Walker's The Color Purple, then finally Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. So the 5 questions I have chosen for this class, there is a commonality. All are based on world literature. So when it comes to NET exam, it is tough to get material on world literature. So what you have to do, so you have to keep a note on, okay, Canadian writers or Australian writers or Indian writers. So we have to make a note on novelist, essayist, poets, and dramatists, right? So if this is the logic in today's class, so we are looking at worldwide famous authors. So question number 42. This work is often quoted work, The Golden Notebook, the novel by Doris Lessing. So in this work, we have this author or writer called Anna Wolf, a character who is an author, but suffers from a writer's block. So she has been keeping notes. So these are the notes she has been writing, and a black note, a black notebook, a red notebook, yellow notebook, and blue notebook. Each of these represents something. For instance, a red represents her association with political movements. So similar way, or sometimes black, her dark thoughts and depression are past. So sometimes they ask question like this, which of the following is not the color used in this notebook? I mean, in this book. So we have black, red, yellow, blue. And all these 4 notebooks are put together, are combined, are put together in golden notebook. The golden notebook is a kind of a cover. So within which we find black, red, yellow, blue. This could be a question, possible question next time. And the character, sometimes they may ask, the character Anna Wolf comes in. So now we know Doris Lessing's The Golden Notebook, published in 1962. Then we go for Toni Morrison, the Nobel laureate Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, published in 1970. Why this work? Why they often quote this work or her another famous work, Beloved? So if you read Toni Morrison, you should read Beloved as well as this work. So in this work, it talks about racial discrimination and about a black girl who is obsessed with blue eyes, or bluest eye of white people. She thinks if she gets blue eyes, and she would be respected and treated equally by others. So that's her illusion. And the novel talks about her obsession with blue eyes, or the bluest eye. And this is a protagonist. She is the protagonist of this work, Pecola, P-E-C-O-L-A. So this is how she thinks. Maybe they would say, why? Look at pretty-eyed Pecola. We must not do bad things in front of those pretty eyes. So this is her imagination. She thinks if she gets bluest eyes, definitely everyone will not treat her equally. So pretty eyes, pretty blue eyes, big blue pretty eyes run. Jip runs, Alice runs. Alice has blue eyes. Jerry has blue eyes. Jerry runs, Alice runs. They run with their blue eyes. 4 blue eyes, 4 pretty blue eyes, blue sky eyes. So this shows her obsession, and that is beautifully captured in writing by Toni Morrison. Next, we go for The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This African-American writer established herself with this work, was published in 1982. It is an epistolary novel in the form of letters. So here is a character who was abused by her stepfather and treated badly by others. So she writes her sufferings to God in a notebook. So this is the opening line. Celia, C-E-L-I-E, she says, you better not never tell nobody but God. So even this could be a question. What is the form of this novel, epistolary novel, where the main character, it's a kind of purging. She wants to get relief, rid of her pain, and it's a kind of a treatment. She writes herself, and that's a kind of a treatment, right? A kind of a medicine. So she writes to God. Next one, we have, at this age, the last few years, this book is a rage. So we have the Canadian writer Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, which was published in 1985. So this novel is a dystopian novel. So in a dystopian society where all are powerful, so where women are treated like slaves, women are assigned to certain powerful people. And what's the function? They have to get conceived by them and give birth to their children. So this is that kind of a society, and it talks about the position of women in that totalitarian society. So we have this major character offered as if she were offered to someone, O-F-F-R-E-D, but that's not her real name. Let's read a few lines from this work. My name isn't Offred. I have another name, which nobody uses now because it is forbidden. I tell myself it doesn't matter. Your name is like your telephone number, useful only to others. But what I tell myself is wrong. It does matter. Okay. So this entire novel centers on this main character, Offred. And recently, Margaret Atwood came up with a sequel to this work, The Testaments, which also won the Booker Prize. Now let's go to question number 43. Which of the following are novels by the British writer Ian McEwan, McEwan. So we have 4 novels here. Capital A, Atonement. B, The Man with the 2 Left Feet. C, The Child in Time. D, The Racial Papers. So options, option A and C only, in the sense Atonement and The Child in Time only. B and D only. C and D only. D and A only. So as I told you before, we get questions from contemporary British literature and world literature. So contemporary British literature, we should spend some time on contemporary British literature, especially novels. So we have Ian McEwan, one of the established writers in the contemporary British literature. And if you're aware that his most, the work that is considered as masterpiece, Atonement, then at least if you choose A, then you can eliminate 2 options. You can go for between the 2, right? Answer is A, Atonement and The Child in Time only. So what you have to do next? Next, at least read the detailed, the crux of Atonement or The Child in Time, or get to know the other works of Ian McEwan, because he has written a lot of works. For instance, one of his famous works, The Saturday, the novel is set in a single day, like James Joyce's Ulysses. Or there are also other works like The Cockroach, his most recent work. This is a reversal of Francis Kafka's Metamorphosis. So in the short story, Francis Kafka's Metamorphosis, a guy turns into a cockroach, right? And that short story represents this existential crisis, and it is associated with this absurd literature. So here is a work which is a reversal of that work, Ian McEwan's novel, The Cockroach. Here, a cockroach turns, into the Prime Minister of England. Just imagine the story. The cockroach suddenly turns into the Prime Minister of England, and what is it going to do? So that's a story of Ian McEwan's The Cockroach. Then let's look at the other options given there. The Man with the 2 Left Feet and Other Stories. It's a collection by P.G. Wodehouse, again British writer. And another British writer we have Martin Amis and his work The Racial Papers. Okay, so with this, let's go to the next question. 44. Which 2 of the following are works by Gustave Flaubert, Flaubert? Gustave Flaubert, French writer. We have 4 options. Capital A, The Temptation of Saint Anthony. B, Old Goriot, Goriot. Then C, Therese Raquin, Therese, Raquin, Raquin. And D, Sentimental Education. Then we have the options. Option A and C only. So in the sense, The Temptation of Saint Anthony and Therese Raquin only. Or B and D only. C, B and C only. D, B and D only. So as I told you before, so you can look at the questions. We get questions from American literature, contemporary British literature, or novelist from German, French, again, French here. So let's go to the answer, then let's discuss. So answer is B, A and D only. The Temptation of Saint Anthony and Sentimental Education. These were the novels by Gustave Flaubert. But this is a bit tricky question, because whenever they ask questions concerning Gustave Flaubert, they always go for his famous work, Madame Bovary. But this time they have gone for the other works of Gustave Flaubert. So what we can get from this question, or infer from this question, that whenever we come across a classic writer like Gustave Flaubert, or we have Leo Tolstoy or Dostoevsky, we have to go through their not only famous work, but also some obscure works too. So that's how this question is set. So let's see. Question 44. So anyway, you should read Gustave Flaubert's Madame Bovary. That is his masterpiece. And Gustave Flaubert spelling Gustave, Flaubert, Flaubert. In French, the last consonant is most of the time is silent, Flaubert. Then we have the master, Balzac, B-A-L-Z-A-C, Balzac. Balzac was known for his, a collection of novels and stories put together, combinedly called the Human Comedy. And one of the works in that collection is Old Goriot, G-O-R-I-O-T. It's kind of a father figure in that work. Then we have another writer known for his realistic portrayal of the world, or associated with realism and naturalism, especially naturalism. So we have Emile Zola, E-M-I-L-E, Zola, Z-O-L-A. And the work given, we have Thérèse Raquin. So Thérèse Raquin was written by Emile Zola. We have come to the last question of today's class. Who is the author of the short story? Beethoven was 1/16th black. As I told you before, look at the questions given. So we get questions from French literature, from American literature, from contemporary British literature, and Spain, German literature, and this time from South African. So option A, Andre Brink, B, Bessie Head, C, J.M. Coetzee, D, Nadine Gordimer. All are South African writers. So this clearly says that the question setters expect students of literature to get exposed to world literature, right? So answer D, Nadine Gordimer. Okay. Let's also check out some of the famous work. So we have Andre Brink, his famous novel, Looking on Darkness, which was actually banned when it was written. Then we have Bessie Head, A Question of Power. And we have the Nobel laureate and Booker Prize winner, J.M. Coetzee, C-O-E-T-Z-E-E. J.M. Coetzee's Disgrace. Disgrace established this writer. So this is the novel you should start with. So if you want to know more about J.M. Coetzee. There are also other novels like Foe. That's also an interesting work, which is a retelling of Robinson Crusoe. J.M. Coetzee is known for that work, Foe, F-O-E, right? You can also check out that work, and there are also other works. Okay. So with this, we finish today's class. Thank you so much, and start your preparation. Focus more on world literature, especially novels. So that's the lesson we learned from today's analysis of these 5 questions. And see you tomorrow with another 5 questions. Please subscribe to this channel for further updates, and you can contact the number on the screen to join the course for UGC NET and SET English. Thank you.